I mean, can you imagine, going into a school or sitting down in a room, let's say with 30 other people, and everyone kind of doesn't even acknowledge that you're there, or, you get the sense that you could disappear for 3 weeks, come back, and no one would ask you where you were.
It was fabulous. We moved every 2 years. We made friends. I had at least one very good friend every place that I lived.
It's a phenomenal experience that you get to experience different people and different cultures. And let me tell you, the food overseas is delicious like none other. Some delicious Italian cuisines, let me tell you that. It's different than every day when you wake up here. Because over there when you wake up, it's a different smell. You're just like, oh my gosh, it's a new day. Walk down the street for your workout, say Guten Morgen, or Bonjour, or whatever, wherever you want. But the experience is different, it's phenomenal, and it's once in a lifetime. If you have the chance, I would do it.
Tough, but we got used to it. Every 4 years, we'd move from country or state to another. It's wide diversity of people that we would meet, and cultures were very different, and a very good way of learning.
I think it's pretty easy for me to move, since I moved a bunch of times, than people that moved only twice.
I personally found it really hard to adjust to living in Bedford because I came from Georgia, where I'd been for 4 years, and so then I moved here, and it wasn't very welcoming to me personally. I think Bedford kids are so used to us moving in and coming here that they don't think it's cool that someone new is here. So it took me a long time to make friends and to make good friends.
I wake up at 5, I get ready, take a shower, eat breakfast, and then I go on a bus at 7, so 6. Bus ride is usually not quiet at all, filled with all types of people.
I football practice from 2:30 to 5:30, and then once I get home, which is about 6, I usually eat dinner and do my homework, which usually takes me about 2 to 3 hours. And then I have a little bit of downtime where I'm watching TV and talk with friends or play games.
So the commissary is like your military grocery store or your military stop and shop. And other job opportunities that kids on base have is they can be a bagger at the grocery store and work for tips only. A little hard, but good money. They can work at the BX, which is like your Walmart, but without the food.
It has the base essentials. Stuff for us to do is pretty much the gym, shopette, which is like your, and then your liquor store and to get your snacks and stuff, And then the youth center is where we all hang out on the weekends and go on trips, which is we all.
My story goes, if you want to know the real me, just turn the page in my dirt road.
The youth center is a place to go after school and hang out with your friends, or go on the weekends, watch movies, have lock-ins, which are giant sleepovers with about 40 people, have parties, and just celebrate everything. But to me, the youth center is more of a home.
It's right there for you to see, every kiss, every beer, every cotton field memory.
It has its good and its bad points. My husband, because of his work, he often was a shift worker. So I had many birthdays, many anniversaries that I celebrated on my own. And my children, my husband missed a lot of things that my kids were involved in because he was traveling and working so much. But the flip side of that is we're a very, very close family. And my kids, they knew how much they were loved. Because when my husband came home, we made up for all the time that we were apart. And my kids and I grew very close, because I was there for them all the time.
Students from Hanscom are dealing with moving every few years, leaving friends behind, trying to make connections, parents that are deployed, not having any type of control or say in where they're going to be in a couple of years. Not to mention the fact that if you have a mom or dad that are overseas, deployed, trying to go to bed every night, not knowing if mom and dad are safe, not knowing if mom and dad are, going to be there the next day. I mean, our parents that served really sacrificed a lot.
Disadvantages are that military's plain, it's very strict. You'll end up getting told by the NPs not to do specific things, like, example, riding your bike in the middle of the road. Other disadvantages are if you don't have your ID, you can't actually get into the military installments. You also can't sponsor people on base until you're 18. And you just have to be careful with what you do on base. Some advantages is that there's a place on the base on the military installment called the youth center, and that's where people get together and socialize. We play games, we have parties, we eat food. It's just all sorts of things. You can play basketball, you can play sports, and we have field trips sometimes. It's a really great place. There's also another installment, a theater. You can go watch cheap movies, go watch good movies, new movies, all that. There's also plenty of job opportunities. You can work just about any place on base.
It sucks. It's a long process. The people come on, the guards come on the bus, and they ask everybody for their ID cards. And you have to hold it up, and if you don't have yours, then they ask you to get off the bus. And it's hard because, like, you have to wait for a ride to get on base, and like most people, their parents are at work, so you have to wait for hours at a time sometimes. And it's hard to get people on base because you have to be over 18 to sponsor somebody, and even then you have to like fill out paperwork and have them fill out paperwork and provide like IDs and like photo IDs and all this stuff. So it's tough to like get your friends on base if you want to hang out, or like people that are visiting. It's hard to get them on. So.
It's kind of hard, like, being able to hang out with them because it's like a long process to get your pass to go to their house, or, like, hang out with them. And then there's always the fear that, like, they're going to have to move somewhere else. And my boyfriend moved away, but we're in a long-distance relationship. And it's, like, hard, but at the same time, like, you just make it work. And it, like, allowed me to see how hard it is for base people to get close to someone knowing that they have to leave.
Growing up, probably wasn't too different. It was pretty nice because you had like a small community. You could walk everywhere you wanted. You have the movie theater and things like that. But it was probably pretty similar. You had a close group of friends. You got together. You played, pick-up sports. Went to the youth center.
It's a pretty surreal experience for a lot of kids where if they've moved here from, let's say, Florida, for the first few months, maybe even year, they're waking up in the morning still thinking that they're back in Florida. I mean, we all know that experience, and you have these dreams, and you wake up in the morning, and you're like, oh man, am I really here? Is this really what's going on? And I think, they have a hard time letting go to their old life.
My experience with the military has really been a great experience. My dad was in the Air Force for 25 years. We traveled a lot, as I said, and then I married into the military, and my husband was in the service for 20 years. Both my father and my husband are enlisted, or were enlisted. I think the military has given me an appreciation for the base kids that come here. It's helped me to realize that they are no different than any other kid in Bedford. They're the same. They just come with the different experiences that they add to what's already here. They complete it when they come here. I think that for my own kids, I don't think they're any different than anybody else. My kids have gone to college. My kids have got their master. My kids have got great jobs. They've been very successful. And they're proud to be called Base kids. And I'm proud to be a Base kid. And I'm proud to be a Base wife.
I don't wanna die for you, but if dying's asking me, I'll bear that cross with honor, 'cause freedom don't come free. I'm an American soldier, an American.
You know, how do military students or how do Hanscom students feel about Bedford High School? And you know, you figure out I should know, especially from where I sit, how they feel. But I think it varies. It varies day to day. It varies year to year. Every summer we have 50, 60 new students that come in. We also have a large chunk of students that move out. And with that, each new student brings their own feelings, their own perceptions. You know, we all should make a point to say hi to new students, and we should all make a point to go out of our way just to make sure that any new student, from base or otherwise, feels comfortable.
Beside my brothers and my sisters, I will proudly take a stand.